Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this video. This is episode 2 of the interview with Ali Mona. If you missed it, here is a quick sneak peek at episode 1.
Not working. And I said, I need to shift this up a little bit. So my kids do chores. They don't get paid for it. They do chores because they're important.
Okay.
Because their role in our family, even my 7-year-olds, they are important. And when they choose to not pick up their toys, when they choose to not put their clothes away, when they choose to not do this or to not help in the kitchen, then someone else has to pick up that slack.
Okay.
But they're important. So how much more interested are you personally as a human to doing something and following through when the underlying message is you're important to this whole unit functioning?
Gotcha.
You show up differently.
Hey guys, go ahead. If you didn't check out that video, which is episode 1, I'm going to link it in the description. Go ahead, look at the description, and the link will be in there for you to check out episode 1. I appreciate y'all checking out episode 2 as well. Thank you guys.
But I'm waiting. The biggest thing that I wanted to do, and for me, it was more intentional in the sense of I'm trying to teach my stepdaughter like just the ability to just speak up, speak out, like just take that chance, take the risk, right?
Ask for what you
feel
need.
like, yeah, and I feel like culturally, and I don't know, I've only had my son before, so my son's already grown, right? But I feel like she has, and I don't know if it's just a girl thing, that it's that mentality of like, well, I don't want to look stupid in front of my friends. I don't want to like, kind of thing like that. And I'm like, dude, take the chance. I remember we went to her, and me, I had a unique situation for when I went to high school. I was bad. I was skipping school. I was doing a lot of stuff I shouldn't have been doing. But it was interesting with her because when we went and they were giving us a little tour around school and everything, and I saw like, they had a chess club. They had like a yearbook committee. They had all this. And I'm sitting here like it's my school time. Like I'm grabbing all the pamphlets from all the students. Like, and she's like, oh my gosh, like you're embarrassing me and stuff. And I'm like, why? Like, dude, I'm like looking at it back now. I was like, I would have joined every one of these clubs. Like I had that mentality of, I don't want to look stupid. I want to be the cool person. I don't want to be in yearbook. Right. And I'm like, dude, the skills I would have learned in yearbook right now would have been helping me out just with photography, how to put the yearbook together and market it and stuff like that, and graphics. And I'm like, you got to think like that. And that's what I'm trying to show her. It's just stop being scared and just do it.
Well, here's the thing. We are the sum of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. Yeah. Their bank accounts, their health habits, their mindset, everything, right? And so we know that as adults, yeah? But those are things that we start talking about with our kids. If you're hanging around the kids that get good grades, guess what's going to happen? Yeah. You're going to get good grades, right? If you're hanging around the kids that are embarrassed because they want to do chess club, but they can't do chess club because they're going to look stupid, guess what? That's going to be you.
Yeah.
Right? And so already ingraining from them at a very early age, you need to choose your circles wisely.
Yes.
And sometimes there's loss to that because maybe that friend isn't best for you. And we experience this as adults.
Yeah.
Right? But getting that hard thing. So let's talk about fear for a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fear. How do we overcome fear? You have to step in my world. I think if there's a line, so fear draws a line in the sand for me. And what I want is on the other side of the line, where I know is best for me, where I know I should be going, where I want my business to go, where I want my wellness to go, where I want my health and my finances to go. It's all on the other side of the line. But fear, if you're still on this side of that line, you see the fear. So the thing that you do to get over it is you step over the line. Because once fear is behind you, it's no longer glaring in your face, blocking you.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So how do you take that? And you don't have to jump over the line. You just need to take that first baby step over the line. Right?
Yeah.
Because, and so maybe You need someone who's on the other side of the line to hold your hand as you step over it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you need to jump over it because you just have to do it. You can't baby step it. You've got to jump. But that visualization of that line helps me to, one, recognize that it's the whole journey's not scary. Usually it's that first step, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll get a couple little ways into your journey and another fear line will appear, but you've already conquered the one behind you. So you go, okay,
Yeah.
all right, I think I can do this. This is what my daughter taught me in that taxi, right? We didn't want to do it.
Nice.
And yet here we
Yeah.
are. Let's look back at that fear line and say, oh, actually, how far we've come has been worth it. But sometimes you need help. Sometimes you need to jump. Sometimes you need to baby step. And this, again, is why your circle of humans is so important, because you're going to have people that go, don't jump over that line. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
John, are you crazy? Starting your own business. Are you nuts?
Yeah. Oh,
And
trust me, I heard it.
Right? And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
you're not in my inner circle anymore because you're not supporting me where I know I need to be going.
Yes.
Right? So that's my tip.
Yeah,
for
definitely. And it's interesting. I have two things I tell myself for fear, right? One being just a kind of a quick action acronym, right? That kind of helps me out. Just like you said, right? John, you're gonna start your own business. John, you're gonna record yourself talking to random people, right? Like, how's that gonna go? And you know what? After a while, I was just like, look, man, I'm gonna do it because I feel it's beneficial. If me and Allie talking and I share this video and it impacts one person on how to conquer fear, maybe move to a different country, experience something different in life, help with, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna try that tactic that Allie's using for her kids on chores and stuff. Like, if we can just help with that one thing, then to me, I'm good with it, right? And I always look at fear, so I take it as the acronym for F is fear, right? I have to actually recognize it. I have to know, like, yes, this is legit. This is an emotion right now that I am feeling. Yes, I am scared, right? The E is for evaluate. I just simply ask myself, what am I scared of? What's the worst that can happen, right? Am I going to die? No? Okay. I think we're good. A is for action. Like, I immediately try setting an action that I can take, right? Just like you said, if it's something like I just got to step over the line real quick, is my action, hey, you know what? Oh, this is getting to me. I need somebody to hold my hand across this line.
Yep.
I need to go find somebody. This is my action. I need to go find that person in my circle and go ask them, like, hey, can you walk me over this line?
That's
or
right.
my action just needs to be, look, I just need to jump. I just need to go for it, right? And then the R is just simply, hey, the result. I feel the result to me is the most important one because I look at it in a sense of reflection, right? We tend to, I feel like we tend to forget how much stuff we've already conquered. All them times that we've been scared of doing something, and we get to that next one where it's like, oh, this is a little scary. Yeah, maybe a little scarier, a little more than the last stuff you did, but you've still been winning this whole time. You've still been conquering it. And we just kind of tend to forget that stuff. And like, so that's where that little acronym just helps me like conquer it and adjust it. Right. There was times where I remember, like, on here when I first did my first video, I was like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to interview anybody and stuff like that. I'm like, man, now it's just like, okay, well, got through the first one. I mean, it wasn't the best, but I got the first one. And like, now people are like, oh, okay, well, hey, that first video, like, it looked good. I was like, oh, for real? Okay, well,
it's awesome.
Well, let's keep it. So,
well, let's go one step deeper on these emotions, John, because fear is an emotion. An emotion is literally chemical signals in your body. So when we experience fear, we experience fight, flight, or freeze, right? A lot of us feel that adrenaline rush. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Or we're like totally frozen, or we want to fight, or we want to run away, right? These are like ancient in the, really reptilian part of our brain. They're not going anywhere. Okay. The problem is A bad email could send you into this response, or an argument with your spouse, or someone looking at you funny, right? So we're triggered every day. But did you know that it only takes 90 seconds for that emotional, that chemical emotion response to run its course in the body? 90 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So when you're in it, if you can just say, this is going to pass, like that initial reaction. So why do we feel emotions long after that actual chemical response is done? It's because we're not feeling emotions. We're feeling assigned feelings. So you're triggered in fear, right? And you go, it actually runs its course in 90 seconds, but then you go, I'm not good enough. See, this means I shouldn't be doing this. Uh-oh, I'm out of my comfort zone. No one's going to like me, blah, 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 blah. And it's us that perpetuates those initial emotions.
Yeah.
So your self-leadership here. Yeah, your self-leadership here is critical.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense because, I mean, not trying to compare ourselves, right? But I look at it in a sense of when I'm training my dog, right? If you do a certain reaction, I have a very I'm not sure. We adopted a dog, and we adopted him when he was like 11 months. And I think he went through something traumatic because he gets scared of a lot of things, right? And so through that process, like we learned that when we're training him, it's not it really helped me a lot because it wasn't the be forceful, like, hey, shit, or anything like that. Like sometimes, and it's interesting that you say that, sometimes I just have to sit with him for him to just like there was times where he was scared, where like his whole body was shaking, and I'm just like, okay, bud, like it's okay. I don't know, for some reason he gets scared of old people that are walking with like walkers or canes or anything like that.
He was probably beat.
I'm not sure why. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too. But when he sees it, he'll go into like this either very defensive, aggressive stage, or he gets very, very scared. And at one of those times, he was like really shaking, where I just had to like sit with him and like just hold him, and like we were probably just there for like 3-4 minutes, just sitting down. And finally, like I knew, like, okay, it passed when he started licking my face again. I was like, okay, you're good to go. You're ready to walk again. Like, let's do it. So it makes perfect sense, like how that chemical reaction and emotion can just get us. And it's interesting because I feel like we associate it, just how you said, you assign an emotion to it, right? And just like I was saying, just like I had mentioned before, I feel like we forget so many of the wins that we had before. That what if you just associate it, right, with something of like, oh yeah, this was scary, but I won. This was scary, but I won. Instead of like, this is scary and I didn't do anything. This is scary and I didn't do anything. Instead, you associate it with, if I'm scared, you take action. I'm scared, take action.
Okay, so listen, as parents, we can start this feedback loop in our kids so early, right?
Yeah.
This is a feedback loop that I had to learn because it was not ingrained in me as a child. But for my kids, it's like they just had a gymnastics competition. It's intimidating, right? And for 2 of my girls, it was their first one. So I didn't have a reference point. But for the other 2, it was their second one. And one of my girls, it was the third. And so we walk up and all the nerves and, all the stuff, those emotions are firing. But we had that anchor to go back to, right? Do you remember the first time you did this and then how it felt? And it's like, remember that feeling. Don't remember the fear feeling. Go back to that that result feeling.
Yeah.
Right? And anchor to that, because the actual chemical response of fear or anxiety or nervousness is actually the same chemical as excitement.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Think about it. Butterflies in the stomach, or fear or sweating. Like you could totally be excited and just like losing your mind and your body.
Yeah.
Right. And so again, going back to self-leadership, how can we turn these negative emotions into excitement that fuel your performance rather than hold you back from giving it your all because you have these fears of failure or whatever the fear is?
And I think we all do it in a sense of think of it in this sense, right? And I like to ask people, I tell I tell this to my wife a lot. She she has this unique ability, and I think a lot of us have it in some form or fashion, but she has a unique ability to harness, I want to say her anger, but it's not anger. It's like
Passion?
just the negativity, right? Throughout her
Mm.
life, and she lets her fuel that. Like she just gets fueled by it, right? Especially in the gym. Like I tell her all the time, I'm like, you can't work out happy. You're not a happy workout person. Like she has to just be like in that, oh, like I remember that
Uh-huh.
girl that like, because she obviously, I mean, she went through her stuff and everything like that. And
Yeah.
I mean, nothing dramatic, but like she has an ability to harness that. Me, I like to be in a good mood. I like to, man, I want to go out,
Mm.
run outside in the sun. And she's like, dude, give me a dark garage with like just one light, me in the darkness kind of thing. Like she has that ability. And it's crazy to me because I'm like, if I was in there, I'd be like, man, I don't want to work out in here. I want to get out of here. Like,
Yeah.
and so I asked that because I think everybody has like a unique strength to theirs, right? To being an effective leader, right? And
Mhm.
I would say, like, for example, for mine, it took a lot of reflection periods and a lot of just kind of asking over and over again, right? What's driving me to the point where I'm succeeding the most, right? For mine, it was my curiosity. I am a naturally curious person.
Hmm.
For the longest time, I always thought it was like, oh, because I'm a very competitive person because of this and that. But
Mm.
like after analyzing a lot of the things that I have tried, that I have succeeded on, the competitions I've did, the teams I've led, and everything, it really ended up being that I was just a curious person, asking questions and inquiring about certain things. And then when the opportunities will come up, people just remembered me like, oh, well, John was asking about that. John actually knows how to do that now
Um,
because he asked about it a while back. And yeah, why don't we give him the opportunity or give him that position and stuff? So I wanted to ask from your perspective, especially with your experience and what you've gone through, what do you feel like that one true strength that you have that's been helping you and guiding you?
I make things happen. I push big things forward. And so, like every strength, it bites us, right? Because not everyone wants to be challenged. Not everyone wants to move. Sometimes people just want an ear to complain. I'm not that person. I
Oh,
talk
nice.
about there's a spectrum of like from therapist to
Mhm.
coach. Yeah. A
Okay.
therapist helps take people who are in a bad spot to a good spot, right? I am built to help people go from good to great. I'm not a
Yes.
counselor. You can't, I can listen for all of about 5 minutes before I have a million ideas for you to help you get out of where you are. But not everyone wants to get out.
Yeah.
So you got to know like when you're ready to get out and when you're not. Um, I'm built to help people who have good lives, who want better, who know they're built for more, who know that there's more in them to give. That's where I
Yeah.
shine. That's where I shine. That's my
That's
superpower.
amazing. I love
I don't
that.
let people
I
just
love
wallow.
that.
No
Yeah,
wallowing over here.
I love that. I love it because so in my program, right, for what I train people on in leadership development, my program's called Soaring, right? So it's just an acronym. It stands for your strengths, opportunity, attitude, resilience, intent, necessity, and gratitude, right?
Mm.
And essentially, it's to help leaders see different perspectives, right? I feel in kind of a similar sense of if you feel stuck, there's a way out. You just
There's
haven't
100
seen
ways
it.
out.
You haven't been, yeah, like there's something out there, right? And it's funny to me because it's even if I hear like a family member, my son, friends, or anything like that, like they're like, oh well, I wish I had more money. Well, do you really wish that really hard? Because there's money out there.
What you
You're
doing to
just
get
not
it?
exactly. And I'm like, I tell this to I'm sure you've probably shared the same sentiment of, I tell my son all the time, I'm like, dude, you got it so easy, dude. You have a smart computer in your pocket right now that can literally teach you about anything that you want to learn about. I'm like, I joked with him one time. I was like, you know what the Dewey Decimal System is? I was
No,
like,
Dad.
dude, it was a pain, dude. Like going to the library trying to find a book. Like going through all these little index cards, like, okay,
Yes,
oh, it's over here.
yes.
Okay, finally you found it. Then you go to the shelf and you're like, oh, dude,
That book's not there. That book's not there. The book's never there.
I was like, dude, they're like, oh yeah, it's been checked out like 3 years ago. It was never returned.
Yes, exactly.
I was like,
oh
dude.
yeah.
But no, but I feel like, and this is where I challenge people. I'm like, dude, find your true strength and learn how to use it effectively, right? So I have periods or seasons of my life, and I look at a season as every 90 days for me. I'm going into a different season.
Me
and
too.
I have it where it's like right now I'm in an attitude season, and the attitude season is a lot about personal reflection and just kind of going over your whys again and your goals and stuff like that, right? And I figure out, hey, what season am I going into in the beginning of the year? That's what I'm currently going through right now, which actually might be a video later on. I was thinking about recording myself going through my process of how to pick a season. But
Awesome.
and I challenge people, like, find that, because for the longest time, and I feel like it's a mistake when people focus on their weaknesses. I feel like be aware of them, be aware that that's a weakness for you. But as you said earlier, Allie, I want to counter that with somebody that has that strength in my circle. I don't want to get strong.
Your weaknesses. Hire your weaknesses. Find them, because admin is my nightmare. Well, my sister-in-law loves admin, so I hire her, right? Because she gets to operate in her strength, and I get to not die.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.